I like kind of brag on Michael Jordan here a little bit, and I think we were a similar ilk with the Jazz. Is I like where guys just tighten their belt up and say, you know what, let's go to work. We just got to get better. Yeah. We got to play harder. We got to play smarter instead of just, where's the grass greener? I'm going to go there and win a championship. I think it devalues that. You're not climbing the mountain. You're taking a helicopter to the top.
Totally agree.
John Stockton sat calmly and delivered one of the coldest reality checks the league has ever heard. You're not climbing the mountain. You're taking a helicopter to the top. That shot wasn't random. It was aimed directly at LeBron James, and Stockton said it with the quiet confidence of a man who spent 19 seasons battling in the trenches without ever begging for extra help. This wasn't some loud entertainer chasing views. This was Stockton, the silent assassin who dropped 15,806 assists without complaining about teammates or circumstances. So when he accused the so-called greatest of taking shortcuts, the criticism carried far more weight than the typical old-school rant. Stockton's message came from a different era, one where loyalty wasn't optional and staying with one franchise for decades wasn't considered wasting your prime. It was a badge of honor. And if this moment is any indication, it might be the crack that shakes LeBron's legacy, with even crazier chapters still to come.
Already in a free fall. I think the Bronny thing started the free fall. I think people around the league are looking like, yeah, you're LeBron, but you're not 27-year-old LeBron. You're not even 34-year-old LeBron. Like, you're an old man now who's dictating and destroying the Lakers because you want your son to play. And look what's happening.
John Stockton's helicopter line might sound like classic old-school talk at first, but he was aiming at something much deeper, a full-on culture divide. When Stockton says climbing the mountain, he's talking about the Utah Jazz grind. He and Karl Malone battled year after year, took their heartbreaks from Michael Jordan, then showed up again the next season ready for more. They never once said, let's find an easier path. They just kept fighting. And when you line that mentality up next to LeBron's career choices, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. The moment things got rough in Cleveland, LeBron headed to Miami to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. When that ran its course, he bounced back to Cleveland with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love waiting. When that broke apart, he shifted to LA with Anthony Davis. Every time the climb got steep, LeBron found another helicopter. But Stockton wasn't just criticizing team hopping, he was pointing to the difference between building something and buying something. The Jazz built their championship window brick by brick. Draft picks, development, culture, patience. LeBron's teams were built overnight through superstar signings and blockbuster trades. And yes, LeBron got rings, but Stockton's real argument is that how you win matters just as much as winning. More and more people are starting to agree. Before diving deeper, there's a bigger question we need to talk about. How do we remember legends once they're done? Retirement is the real test of greatness. When the lights fade, only the truth remains. And this is where it starts getting rough for LeBron. Look at Michael Jordan. His legacy gets bigger every year. His flu game is more iconic. The push-off on Russell feels like art. Even his losses add to his mythology. But LeBron's story? The cracks are already showing while he's still active. Be honest. When was the last time a LeBron performance had you jumping out of your seat, calling your friends, feeling something unforgettable? Even radio hosts are saying retirement might not be kind to him. LeBron's entire GOAT case relies on longevity, stats, and volume. But the moment he retires, those numbers freeze, and people will start looking at them differently. Playing 21 seasons sounds impressive until you realize he spent the late years being average just to collect milestones. Becoming the all-time scoring leader sounds legendary until you remember he needed more games than anyone else. And then comes the biggest hit of all, the super team era. As time passes, more fans are asking the uncomfortable question, how many of LeBron's rings were truly earned through the grind? Stockton's helicopter line is aging like fine wine. This conversation ties into a bigger issue in today's basketball culture, the authenticity problem. Stockton represents everything raw and real from the old era. LeBron, fair or not, has become the face of the polished, corporate, brand-driven modern athlete. Stockton stayed in Utah for 19 years. Utah, one of the smallest markets in the league. He could have forced his way to LA, New York, or another contender, but he didn't. He stayed, built with what he had, and went to war every year. Meanwhile, LeBron's moves feel calculated by his clutch sports media machine. The decision wasn't basketball, it was a TV special. Returning to Cleveland looked as much like image repair as it did as a homecoming. Even his social media presence feels crafted, filtered, and approved by a PR team. And fans aren't blind. Even the radio host pointed out that teams aren't devastated when LeBron leaves. They just say, appreciate the run, good luck at your next stop. When Jordan left Chicago, the city mourned. When Kobe retired, LA treated it like a national holiday. LeBron? He's always felt like a visitor. This leads to the harshest part of Stockton's criticism, the Bronny factor. LeBron basically pressured the Lakers into drafting his son. Not because Bronny dominated college, not because he was the best fit, but because LeBron wanted to play with him. And LeBron always gets what he wants. That's the helicopter mindset at its peak. Instead of letting Bronny earn his place through the G League grind, LeBron airlifted him straight into the league. It sent a message: LeBron will put his personal goals ahead of the team. Fans see it, players see it, the league sees it, and that connects directly to another layer, the clutch sports empire. LeBron isn't just a player, he's a business mogul with influence across the league. Clutch Sports represents star players, influences front offices, and even affects coaching decisions. When the radio host said Stockton doesn't and will never work for Clutch, he was hinting at the truth. Most people stay quiet about LeBron because criticizing him can cost them connections, opportunities, or relationships in the league. Stockton can speak freely because he has nothing tied to LeBron's empire. But every business move LeBron makes chips away at his basketball authenticity. The decision was branding. The Lakers' move was business meets Hollywood. His late career image feels manufactured. And fans today crave authenticity more than anything. They want real stories, real struggle, real humanity. Legends like Ali, Jackie Robinson, and Jordan resonate because they overcame adversity the hard way. LeBron's story? It's about optimization. Smart strategy, but not mythology. And that's the danger. When LeBron retires, he won't have the emotional army Michael Jordan or Kobe built. He'll have documentaries, PR pushes, and clutch campaigns. But manufactured love doesn't last. Authentic love does. That's why the radio host said in 10 years, LeBron might be ranked 5th or 6th all time, and that might be generous. Because once the business empire fades and the brand noise quiets, people will judge only the basketball. And when you strip everything away, LeBron's GOAT case starts looking thin. Stockton climbed the mountain for 19 years and never reached the top, yet his legacy is solid because he never stopped climbing. LeBron reached the top multiple times, but people feel like he took shortcuts to get there. That's the difference. Stockton didn't just criticize LeBron, he reminded everyone what greatness is actually made of. Not numbers, not brands, not super teams. Character, authenticity, the grind when nobody's watching. LeBron built an empire, but somewhere along the way, he stopped building mythology. And now, as his career winds down, those